You are now listening to the smooth sensations and high vibrations of Alex, host of the best relationship channel on YouTube. Alex, drop them gems on us.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. I'm not going to be as exaggerated with my hand motions as I usually am today because I got a meeting coming up in a few. But I got emailed this question by one of my female subscribers, and shout out to her. And as always, if you would like to book a consultation to talk to me about dating and relationships, or I do work as a financial consultant, you want some financial consultations, my email's in the description. You can also just email me a question. If you don't want to book a consultation, I'll just answer in video format as I'm about to do right now. But I'm going to take her question and kind of flip it into something else I want to talk about, because I've already kind of answered the question that she asked me before. And the question that she asked me is, people always say, don't date single mothers, don't date single mothers. So who are single mothers supposed to date? We have to date somebody. Well, first of all right, and maybe I'll make another video or elaborate on this further. But again, I've already made a video about this, so I don't feel like elaborating on it too much. I've said it before and I've said it again. Single mothers' best option is usually their baby fathers, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not. I say the same thing to single fathers most of the time. Most of the time, if you love someone enough to give them the highest honor as a woman, the highest honor you can give a man is risking death and birthing a baby for him. So if you love the man enough to give him this honor, he can't be that bad of a person. And I'm not a believer in babies changing anything. Babies don't change nothing. I'm sorry. I live a higher class life, right? And I have higher class friends. Most of my friends are like college educated, and most of the male and female are married. And none of their relationships change due to just a baby. So chances babies might enhance red flags that were already there that you chose to ignore, but they don't create red flags. It's just a damn baby. So you gave this man the highest honor that you could possibly give him. So he was good enough for you to do that. He should be good enough for you to work it out with. All right. And unless he's mentally, physically, or emotionally abusing you or financially abusing you, I say go back to your baby father. Now, if somehow out of nowhere after the baby he started doing one of those four things miraculously when he wasn't doing it before, I'm not going to say it never happens. But if it does, then yes, okay, you can go back onto the dating market. But when you go back onto the dating market, you should be dating a man who has kids. That's who you should be dating. When we say don't date single mothers, we're not talking about men with kids. Because I tell men with kids the same thing. You should date a woman who has kids. That should be the first person on your list. All right? But that slips into what I really want to talk about. And this is where the gems begin, which is, in my opinion, single mothers who have children who do not want to date men with kids. Because I'm convinced the reason women keep asking me that same ass question, like I haven't answered it before, is because they don't like the answer that they're getting. They don't want me to tell them to date a man with kids. And I'm going to let you guys know right now, all you dudes watching this video who don't have any kids, I'm going to let you guys know. Everything I'm saying applies to men too, but I don't see men running around refusing to date women with kids. I don't see it. Men without kids will date women with kids. We're trying to stop them from doing that because it ends in disaster. That's why I'm saying single mothers. I see way too many single mothers saying they don't want to date a man with kids. I'm going to let you guys know something right now. Any woman who has kids, any single mother who has kids who does not want to date a man who has kids is a predator. Point blank, period. That is a huge red flag, and you should stay far away from her. All right? Simple as that. You should stay far away from her. And there's numerous reasons why. Number one, if you have a child, and this is why I said this video is really gender neutral, but this seems to be more of a problem for women. If you have a child, the main reason you should be seeking out, if you can't make it work with your baby mother or baby father or someone else who has a kid, is because they understand you. Not only do they understand you, they live in the same lifestyle, so they have kids too. They got to go to school meetings too. They got to put their kids before you too. So no one's feeling left out. No one's feeling like they're getting less than because you both have children. But even deeper than all that, I said in my last video when I was talking about CJ So Cool that the most dangerous place for a little girl is in the arms of any man that's not her father. Simple as that. That's where most of the abuse comes from, in the arms of any man that's not her father. So if you can date a man who has kids, the likelihood a man who has kids is going to abuse your kids goes down significantly. I don't think you women realize how many men target single mothers because they know those daughters are unprotected. I would look at it as weird if a man with no kids, there's all these women out here who don't have kids, and he's coming to be a stepfather to me and my daughter. I would see that as weird, and I would not trust that man. That's just me. But if I see a man, he has a daughter of his own, he has kids of his own, I get to see how he's taking care of his kids. I get to see how he's treating his kids. I can see by my own firsthand, rather or not he's a good father, and rather or not I would want someone who's parenting the way he's parenting to be parenting my kids that same way. Why would I want to take the chance dating someone who doesn't have kids? I don't know how good of a parent they're going to be. And even if they're good with my kids for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, right? Some people get tired. They might be good for the first 3 months, but by the time they get to 6 months, they over your damn kids. They don't have any kids. They don't want to deal with your kids anymore. What are you going to do then? Right? So not only do you get the opportunity if you date another man with kids to see whether or not this man's a good father, not only does it lower the risk that he's going to abuse your kids sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally, physically, or whatever. Not only does it do all of that, but you have to realize a man who has kids is already in a situation where that's already his lifestyle. He doesn't have to make a lifestyle adjustment. He doesn't have to adjust to just raising. He's already raising kids. So all you're doing is adding more, which would be good for him, especially if the kid's the opposite sex, because now he doesn't have to have any more kids. Okay? But let's really keep diving into it. What's the number one reason a lot of women who have kids will say, I don't want to date a man with kids, or I don't want to date someone else with kids? It's because of baggage, right? They'll say, because I don't want to deal with the baggage. But here's my problem, and this is why I call these people predators, right? I'm really going to break this down, so make sure y'all watch the whole video. You have baggage. How are you going to say you don't want to deal with anyone else's baggage when you have baggage? What do you mean by that, Alex? You're saying you don't want to be a stepmom. You don't want to take care of nobody else's kids. So you're going to ask a man with no kids to be a stepdad when you wouldn't be a stepmom. You're asking someone to do something you wouldn't do. You want someone to do something for you that you wouldn't do for them. This is a red flag. This is why I tell you guys to avoid women like this, because she's already showing you that she's selfish. She doesn't want to be responsible for anyone else's children, but she wants you to be responsible for someone else's children. And this is another gem. Why would a woman, any woman, say she doesn't want to be a stepmother? She's a woman. Women are supposed to be nurturing and caring by nature. Any woman who says she doesn't want to be a stepmother, I'm questioning her femininity from jump. So it's yet another red flag. Because I've been in situations where I've seen a dude pass out on a bus, right? When I was younger, a dude passed out on the bus, and a woman who was on the bus who happened to be a nurse, she got up and she checked on the dude to make sure she was all right. Now, she found out he fell off the bus because he was drunk and nothing was wrong with him. But this is what I'm talking about. Females by nature are nurturing and caring. If they see someone in trouble, right, they want to help. I've seen plenty of times where a kid's at a park and he scrapes his knee. And that might not be that woman's kid, but the mother in her comes out irregardless if that's her kid or not. She'll go over, she'll put some ointment on his knee, put a Band-Aid on there, and she'll soothe him. Why? Because she's a woman and she's nurturing and caring, and that's what she wants to do. You guys understand that? So I wouldn't want to be with any woman who's not nurturing and caring enough to say she could be a stepmother for someone else's kids. Just like a woman shouldn't want to be with any man who would have a problem providing for anybody that's not himself, right? That's the difference between men and women, right? Just like women will be nurturing and caring towards anyone who needs help, most men will be providers for anyone who needs help. So what I mean by that is the difference between men and women is if you gave a woman $1 million, right? She immediately thinks I need to find a man who has $1 million or more. Why? So that she doesn't have to spend all her money, so that she doesn't have to be the provider, because that's not her nature. If you give a man $1 million, he immediately thinks, okay, baby, you can retire. He doesn't think he needs to find a woman who makes $1 million or more. He thinks, I'm going to find me a woman in town. She don't got to work no more because I got it. He thinks I'm going to go and buy my mama a house. He thinks I'm going to go and buy my sister a car. He immediately thinks I'm going to spread the wealth, because men are naturally providers and protectors. We like to provide and we like to protect. You understand what I'm saying? If a man sees a kid getting abused or a woman getting beat up, a lot of the times he'll jump in just because he feels like, he got to feel like Superman. Dun, dun, dun. It's in his nature, right? So a woman who's saying she doesn't want to nurture for anyone else, even when she claims to love the man she's with, this is the man you love, you're dating him, you don't want to care for his kids, that would be a red flag. Just like I would tell any woman, if he's in love with you and he knows you have children and he doesn't want to provide for your children, that's a huge red flag. A man, if he's in love with you, should have no problem providing for your children just because they're not his. If he has it, it shouldn't be a problem, okay? So that's number one. You don't want to be a stepmother, and that's a red flag because you're a woman. Why would a woman not want to be a stepmother? Number two, all right, this is the other reason that it's an issue. Because you'll also hear a lot of women say, oh, I don't want to deal with the baby mother. I don't want to deal with the baby mother. She might be crazy. She might be this. She might be that. But you have a baby father. So he has to deal with your baby father, but you don't have to deal with his baby mother. That doesn't even make sense. You guys have to understand what I'm saying to you. I don't give a damn what she says about, oh, my baby father's not a problem. He doesn't come around like that. As soon as he finds out you in the crib around his kids, he's going to come around, especially if he's a Chad or a Tyrone or a bad boy. Bad boys and Chad and Tyrones love to be non-existent until their baby mother actually moves on. And the reason they have a problem with that is because, one, they're going to use the excuse, I don't want no one else around my kids. I don't want no other man around my kids, which wouldn't be a problem if he married her. But I digress. So what you guys got to understand is deadbeat dads still want access sexually to their baby mother. And they still want to be able to step in and see their kids whenever they want to. These two things become way more complicated when another man comes in, because now you're not going to get sexual access most of the time. And even if she does cheat with you, it's going to be a lot less. And she's not going to call you to step in with the kids no more because now you've been replaced. So he's going to come around on purpose as soon as you come around and purposely cause problems in the relationship to try to get her to dump you so he can get his control back. So him having to deal with your baby daddy ain't going to be no different than you having to deal with his baby mother, which is why I do tell men, if you are going to date a single mother, most of the time you need to make sure, especially if you don't have kids of your own, that her baby father is either dead or in jail. Because then you don't have to deal with this. Because otherwise, I can pretty much guarantee you he's going to pop up and he's going to be a problem. And it's going to be hard to get rid of him, because at the end of the day, she gave that man the highest honor you can give a man, which is a seed. It's going to be hard for you to jump past that or get around that as a man. All right? So he don't want to deal with your baby father no more than you want to deal with his baby mother. And again, this is showing you being selfish, because you're asking the man to deal with a situation that you wouldn't want to deal with as a woman. All right? And you guys got to understand. And here's the major gem, the big key in all this. The biggest reason that I refer to women who want to date men who don't have kids, even when they have kids, as predators, is because all the other stuff I talked about, okay, that's all fine and dandy. And the best gems come for those who stay till the end. The biggest reason they want to date someone who doesn't have kids is because they want to reset on their family. At the end of the day, they don't want to have a family photo and there's kids in there that belongs to another woman. Those kids don't belong to them. They want to reset on their family. They still want to be able to get married and have a family and take Christmas photos and, you know, with the matching pajama sets and all that stuff, and have every single kid in that photo look like them and have come from their womb. Now, if they date a man who doesn't have any kids, they get to have that. But if you date a woman who has kids, you will never get to have that. Every time you take a family photo, there's going to be a kid in there that someone you grew up with or some family member you have don't remember you having a kid. So they're like, whose kid is that? And you're going to have to explain that's your stepkid. That's not your child. She'll never have to explain that because she wouldn't date anyone in the situation that she's in, right? But you're going to have to explain that because you're goofy enough to date her. You got to understand that. That's her overall angle. She wants a reset on a family where it's not a manufactured family or a broken home. She has a whole home. You don't have a whole home because those ain't your kids. But she doesn't have to deal with that. And the reason I call them a predator is because you guys got to realize they talk about baggage, right? And they give you all these reasons they don't want to date you, or they don't want to deal with no one else's kids, and they don't want to deal with the baby mother, and, you know, all this other stuff. They want to have a family photo where all the kids are in the photo are their kids. They don't want to have explain who this other kid is and all this other stuff. You guys got to understand, basically, what they're saying without saying is they don't want to date someone with kids because they know people who have kids are of lower value. So they know they are of lower value. So why would they want to seek out someone who doesn't have kids, right, who haven't made a broken home or a makeshift family yet, and want to make them basically have a makeshift family because they have to take care of their kids? They know the only men who would be willing to do that are lower value men, or men who are of a higher value, but they don't realize it yet. They don't know it yet, right? So what does that mean? That's like men who are, maybe men who don't look necessarily attractive, but they've earned their way to six figures, right? Or men who are attractive, but you can tell that they were raised by a single mother. This is why I call them predators, because they're looking for men basically who they know they're bringing a bad situation and baggage to this man, but they also know this man, because he wasn't raised right, or because he looks a certain way, or because he's broke, or whatever flaw this man has. They know he has some flaw because he doesn't realize that every reason she doesn't want to date a person with kids is why he shouldn't date her. She's looking for him purposely so she can take advantage of him. At the end of the day, she knows she's bringing everything she doesn't want to deal with to this man, and she's looking for a man who's goofy enough to deal with it. I has some type of a mental issue or some type of a defect where he will deal with this. And this is why I call them predators. There should be no reason why someone with a kid doesn't want to date someone else who has a kid, especially if this is a great prospect, unless they're a predator and they're looking to put someone in a situation they don't want to deal with. They're looking to take advantage of somebody. It's like an animal looking for wounded meat. It's the same thing. That's why they don't want to date someone else who has kids. No, I want to start over, and I want to find someone stupid enough to help me start over. So I want you to give me advice on how to manipulate a man into being okay taking on my kids and then giving me more and never being able to have a family complete full of his own children, which I'm not going to help you do. That's why I tell you to go date a man who has kids too, or to go and get back with your baby father. And this is why I call them predators. Like, logically, just think about it. Every single reason they don't want to date a man with kids is why you shouldn't be dating them. And they know that. That's why they're looking to find a man who's too goofy to realize that. 9 times out of 10, she's going to cheat on you because you're just there to help her with her kids. She doesn't even really like you like that. How can she respect you when you're settling for a situation she wouldn't even settle for because she wouldn't even date someone with kids? So that's why I call single mothers who always want to find dudes who don't have kids specifically predators, because that's what they are, y'all. That's my thoughts on that. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.